Okay, so we are going to break down how to get deals unstuck step by step. Also, I would love it if any of you are like, Jake, I've got a deal that's stuck now. Feel free to drop in like a couple sentences about it. Jake, here's what happened, here's what it is, etc. And I'm happy to do some of this live. So first, what happens when I drop it when a deal gets stuck? I'm going to call this like post discovery. Post discovery. Let's go. Joshua, we got you. Becca, make sure we DM all these people so we can get their email addresses. So post discovery, you get that meeting. Oh my gosh, you get the first meeting with someone, you get real excited, and then after the first meeting, they're like, crickets. I don't know how to make the chirp sound of a cricket, like chirp chirp. Like they don't really sound like a chirp. It's more like a bird of some type. Um, and then they go dark, right? And I'll tell you, there's some very simple things that you can do to ensure that post discovery this doesn't happen. Number one, and this is I used to drill my reps, and here's what I used to do. Always set the next meeting on the call. Assume everyone is going to go dark if you don't do this. Going to go dark if you don't. Okay, this is number one. This alone, my friends, I have seen this on thousands of deals. And what I used to do is if my reps didn't book the first meeting, if they didn't book the next meeting after the call, I would make them call that person back up and be like, hey, I just realized my calendar's filling up really quick next week. What does Monday look like in the afternoon? Let's both open our calendars. Get the next meeting on. I look, I don't have any like scientific facts, so some of you might be like, well, where are the numbers? My anecdotal fact is like, this is going to cure at least like 40% of people from going dark post discovery. Just this stupid thing here. Just literally set the next meeting. That's all you have to do. At the end of the meeting, don't be like, okay, well, great, we'll follow up with you next week. Kill that shit. Kill that shit. Instead, hey, all right, let's open up our calendars. I know mine's actually pretty full on Friday and Monday. How does next Tuesday look between this window? And then next thing, okay, you're going to ask me the next one. How to handle, I don't have everyone's calendar. That's the common objection that happens next. You know? Oh, yeah, Jake. I'd love to do that, but yeah, I just don't have everyone's calendar in front of me. So let me get back to you, and I'll get back to you. Chirp, 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 chirp. Nothing, right? So here's the verbiage that you use. I want again. Look, all these are techniques that I've learned over the years. So like literally, just steal them. Just steal them. Just literally repeat after me at the end of the meeting. Here's what you're going to say. You're going to say, so great. So let me know what your calendar looks like next Tuesday morning. And then you've got to be proactive. I know you probably don't have Linda's calendar in front of you. So let's just pick a spot as a placeholder, and then you can confirm with her. That's it. That's all you got to do. I am telling you, my friends, this shit works. It is so easy. So not only do you say, hey, this is when we're going to meet, acknowledge the fact, hey, I know you don't have Linda's calendar. Is it open for you? Great. Let's put that as a placeholder. And then you can confirm with her today if it works or come back with an alternative time. Done. If you do those things, solving for people ghosting you or getting stuck post-discovery is going to literally go away. Or you'll start to see that they're not interested. So that's all you got to do. That's it. You literally have to just tell them this is what it's going to be. Okay, so I'm going to backtrack a little bit. The next thing I'm going to talk about is questions in the discovery. Questions in the discovery that will help you to make sure deals don't get stuck. To make sure, I kind of am going a little out of order here, but hey, it's all right. Things don't get stuck. So that way, if you're watching this and you want to tag somebody on your team, they want to come and watch it, they can do it. That's great. Okay, number two, big number two. I guess I just did it number two there. So I'll just say like next topic is during the discovery. The biggest part I hear people ask is they don't ask who needs to be involved. And so the way that we typically teach this is the first set of questions like, great, hey, tell me a little bit about kind of your responsibilities around this specific thing. Like, what does your team look like, et cetera. Great, they do that. Then at the very beginning, you say something to the effect of like, hey, great. So if it sounds like there's something that could be here, maybe we will loop in Linda down the road. That's it. You set the stage early because here's what happens. During the sales call, sales resistance goes like this. Early on, oh, we're just chatting, da da da. And then we get to the end of the call, and I'm like, uh oh, here they come. Here comes the close. Oh God, how do I do it? So anyway, just some things to think about, right? So in the discovery process, you have to set the tone early. If it seems like there's a fit, maybe we'll loop in Linda down the road or in the next few meetings. Sound good? Great. Okay, next question. Do it early in the process. Get buy-in early in the process. When you ask for that later, how many of you, and you can raise your hands, you can toss a thumbs up, a light bulb, a thinking. Why do these, I swear to God, these emojis look like they were drawn with felt tip pen, like a bleeding felt tip pen. They're so funny to me. I don't know why. So the next thing that happens, right, is like deals get stuck when at the end of the call, this happens. Okay, you just did your discovery call, and then what happens? Okay, great. What are next steps? I'd love to loop in, you know, Rachel and talk to her about XYZ. And then what do they say? 100% of the time, maybe not 100, maybe it's like 95%. Oh yeah, that sounds great. Can you like send me some information and blah blah blah? And it's because you didn't know the person's name, and so that's why I need to know their name. So then I can make the suggestion at the end of the call. Hey, it sounds like, or earlier in the process, you mentioned Linda might be involved later. So if it seems like it's a good fit, we'll loop her in on the next conversation. So again, don't eliminate words like I'd love to. It would be great if. Just act like things are normal and go from there. Okay. So next best practice. Okay. So next up, so my number 3 here. I realize like I'm like redoing numbers here, but just go with it. I'll put like 3A next time. Like I'll think about it. So 3A here is, so that's the discovery process. So just to summarize, okay. Make sure you ask early in the conversation about their team, who's typically involved, and set a precedent early. Hey, okay, great. So it sounds like if there might be something here, maybe we'll loop in Linda on the next few conversations. Cool. Okay, great. Next conversation. Next question. Next question. Get that buy-in early in the process. That's step 1. Ask the right questions. Get buy-in early. Step 2 is make things sound normal and book every single meeting before you hang up. That's it. If you're in the discovery process, you're getting you're getting losing deals. That's what you do. Okay. Number 3 here. All right. Setting the next meeting on the call. Okay. So we talked about that. So I'm going to talk about the recap and driving momentum. All right. In like larger deals, they don't have to be like $1 million deals. But I'll drop that in there. And again, like I said, feel free. If you guys have questions here, you're like, Jake, I don't get it. That doesn't make sense to me. That's bullshit. I don't think it'll work. Whatever. Just drop that in there too. But if you have questions, like, and again, if you have a real life scenario, like be selfish. Be like, Jake, look, here's what I'm going through. Like pull it in there. What sucks about LinkedIn Live is I can't just pull people live like I could on Instagram, which would be a lot of fun. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should do this on Instagram so we can actually like talk to people live. So next thing I want to talk about is recap and driving momentum. So what happens after that meeting? So you get the next meeting, you're talking to the people, etc. Okay. So I want to talk through. Okay. So then what happens is usually other people get involved. What you have to start to realize is it's your job to quarterback all of the coordination between people. It's not your champion's job or whoever that you had the first meeting with. You have to assume. I used to tell all my reps this, and my directors and managers. Whoever you meet with the first time is most likely not the right person. It's somebody you reached out to cold. It's someone who came inbound. They were told to go reach out inbound. So what you have to make sure you do is say, okay, great. So it sounds like this is your role. We're going to have the next conversation here. Typically, I see IT is involved here. This person's involved here, etc. Let me know, like, okay, is their email address blank at blank? Okay, okay, I'll go ahead and include them on the invite for you. Okay, great, right? Or, like, hey, great. So I'll send the invite to you and then I'll add them, or, I can send it to you and you can add them. But you want to make sure that you're taking the ownership of quarterbacking the coordination. Don't leave that up to grabs. Don't leave that up to like chance that maybe they'll book it, maybe they won't. Go ahead and book it for them as a part of it. So that's great. Let me see that. So my son's homesick. So he just drew a Lamborghini right there. He's been drawing today. Lamborghini. Let's see what else he drew here. Oh, he drew marshmallow. Look at that. That's pretty good. He just drew marshmallow there. It's pretty good, man. All right, so you're talking to like 20 plus. I got like a bunch of people here live. Yeah, just drawing away. It's pretty good marshmallow. So back to sales. And Landon, you can stick around too if you want to learn all about sales, right? I know you like to learn about it. So anyway, so there we go. I can see it. It's funny. It's like pulling up right now. I can see it on like the screen. I love this. So cool. All right. So where was I at? Driving momentum. Okay. So you quarterback the whole thing. And then the next thing is you make it sound typical, you make it sound normal. And so what do I mean by that? Is like, so 3A here, I'm gonna give you 3A. 3A is 3A is suggest who needs to be involved. This is where I see a lot of reps, and I'm telling you, like older school reps too. This is where they really struggle. If you have sold a product, you should know that like who needs to be involved. Like let's say if you sell like a sales engagement platform, okay? If I sold Outreach, if I sold SalesLoft or whatever, Groove, Outplay, I just insert one, okay? I already know who needs to be involved. Sales operations, sales development leadership, probably some top sales development reps or team leads or something like that, and then maybe somebody from the CRM team. It's going to be the same cast of characters over and over and over and over again. So when I end that second meeting, maybe it's a bigger demo, etc. What I'm going to do, and it could be after the discovery meeting, I could say, great. So typical next steps is we would now, like let's say if you're talking to revenue operations or sales ops, you would say, great. So typical next steps is, look, at the end of the day, the sales development team is going to have to be able to use this. So what we typically will do is we'll loop them into it for a demo, get their feedback. Is this something that they see is going to add more value than what they're doing now? Where do they see it adding value? Assuming it's something that they see the value in, then potentially, we can talk about like what a proof of concept or a pilot might be. But at this stage, we have to loop in so-and-so. That's it. I'd love to set up time with the sales development team. I'd love to make it sound like you've been there and done it. You know who needs to be involved. Go look at your deals, at the deals that have closed won and the deals that have closed lost. And it will tell you what needs to happen. I'll give you a very real story in a real sales scenario. I was a interim VP of sales for a company. We ended up selling to Yelp. It was an iPad wait list management company. It's called No Wait. And what we realized, marketing might reach out, or other groups would reach out. And we realized if the VP of operations wasn't involved, then deals just didn't get done. They didn't get done because the VP of store ops had a say on what goes in their store. And so what we would do is we'd say, hey, so typically where we're at now, we have to loop in the VP of store operations. At the end of the day, these are going to go into her stores. And so she needs to at least feel comfortable and some type of proof of concept before we move forward. But that's our typical next step. It worked. They looped them in every single time that there's a real deal. And if they didn't, there wasn't a deal, because we knew we couldn't be successful if those other groups weren't involved. So that's what you got to do. Okay. You have to suggest who needs to be involved. Okay. Then last but not least, I'm going to talk about getting ghosted. It sucks. The new MacBook Pro doesn't have the bar for me to like quickly hit like an emoji. I've got to like literally like pull like command space bar, like all this stuff, because again, like right here is like ghost emoji is obviously the right play late in the deal. What should I do? Okay. This is probably where a lot of you are right now. You're like, oh my God, Jake, it's cute, whatever. I've been getting ghosted or whatever. Like I gave them the proposal, blah, 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 all that stuff. So again, I hope this is resonating with a lot of you. I think there's a lot of folks in here. There's some familiar faces in here, which is great to see. So, okay, I'm going to give you a couple of techniques here. So we'll get into my 4As and 4Bs here. So 4A. And the reason I do this, you guys can tell me if it's helpful for me to go ahead and drop this shit into comments. If it's not, I'll stop doing it. The way that I like to learn or read is like I could come back to this and be like, oh wait, where do I just fast forward to where he said this, so I don't have to listen to the whole thing again? Not that you don't like listening to my voice, but it's helpful. Okay, so 4A is scarcity. Scarcity and I'll call this like the I've been busy approach. Okay, so for this one in particular, this is the technique that I use, and this has worked for me, pretty consistently over the course of my career. So a lot of salespeople act desperate. It's like, oh yeah, wait, what's your calendar look like tomorrow? Or like, it's like, what's your calendar like? Oh, I'm pretty wide open most of next week. Like, who wants to meet with that person? Who's like, oh man, that guy's got it going on. Like, she's obviously like really adding a lot of value. Her schedule is literally open the entire week, right? It's not a good look. It's not a good look in your professional life. You wouldn't do it in your personal life. You wouldn't be going on like a date or dating someone and say like, oh, what's your calendar look like Friday? I'm pretty wide open. Like, nothing says like not desirable. Like pretty wide open. So I'll give you a couple different techniques here. And these are ones that have worked for me time and time again. Number one is the scarcity, and I've been busy. So like, let's say I've reached out to someone and they haven't responded. It's been a week. Okay. And I've probably pinged them once more. What I'll do is, let's say it's been 4 or 5 days. I apologize first. I say, hey, John, apologies for not reaching out Monday. I've been swamped with like XYZ thing. I want to make sure we keep the momentum going. It seems like there was some opportunity there. Again, apologies that I wasn't able to connect then because I've been busy. Let me know, how does Friday, and suggest how does Friday look for a quick 15-minute sync? I'm telling you, that technique works all the time. Hey, Jake, no worries. Blah, 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 blah. What that does is relieves the guilt from them. They know they haven't followed up, and they're like, oh shit, like Jake he keeps emailing me. So whenever you apologize, they're like, oh, okay, I can now interact with him. He thinks it's his fault. It's not my fault, etc. That play right there, the scarcity of like, hey, apologies. I've been busy. I know I haven't followed up in the last 4 or 5 days. That's on me. I want to make sure we keep the momentum going. Boom. It works. Okay. So you can try that. All right. 4B. This one, my friends, I just can't tell you. Video, email, or LinkedIn message. This is it. I am telling you, I cannot tell you, man. I've got a WhatsApp actually. It's from like a year ago. I got a WhatsApp. I was working with an international organization, and we were talking about this. And I talked about video. Hey, so somebody's ghosted you, send them a personalized video. And again, you can use both these techniques combined. So imagine you haven't followed up with me in like a week, right? Deep down, I'm like, oh my God, these people, what's happening? Oh, right? The reality is they're busy, so stop worrying about it. 1, 2, imagine you get a video. The subject line says like, follow up, was out last Thursday, Friday. That's my subject line. And then I click it. It's like email. It's a video. Hey, John, what's going on, man? I just wanted to send you a quick video. Apologies. I was out late last week. And again, don't say apologies like a wimp. Say it with like confidence. Don't be like, hey, I'm so sorry. Oh, don't do that. That doesn't work. Hey, apologies. I've been out the last couple of days. I meant to follow up with you last Friday. Let's assume it's like a Wednesday or Tuesday the next week. I want to make sure we keep the momentum going. I put in the email kind of like next steps. Just do me a favor, shoot me a quick update there, and we can set like a quick 15-minute up next, whatever. Hey, really looking forward to it. Let me know where we're at, and we'll catch up here in a couple days. Thanks. The video makes it personal. So again, I'm telling you, if you get stuck late in the deal, hey, I've been busy, blah, 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 then you couple that with a video, it's over. They're going to respond. I'm telling you, we have just seen this technique work over and over and over again. Okay, I'm going to give you a 4C. Okay, all right, 4C. Okay, so you said, Jake, oh, I've been busy. You said you sent a video. You sent a video. They haven't responded yet. Here's what not to do. Okay, 4C. 4C is called like 4C minus. Like, I'm going to call it like what not to do. Okay, here's what not to do. Oh God, it makes me sick to my stomach, man. I mean, actually, my wife leads a big part of an HR organization at a company called ThreadUp, and we were talking about sales techniques. She's like, why do salespeople do this? Which is the like, hey, I haven't heard from you, and I'm just going to assume that you're not interested, or you're, you sound desperate. It sounds just gross. Nobody. I assume that you're just not. I mean, would you ever leave that voicemail again? Let's talk about dating again. Such a beautiful analogy for this in particular, which is like, would you ever leave that note on someone's voicemail or via text? Well, I haven't heard from you in a week, so maybe you got ate by an alligator, or I haven't heard from you in a week, and I guess you're not that interested anymore. Just think about the cringe that provides. And again, my wife is a buyer, millions of dollars of software every year. And she's just like, why do they act like this? I'm like, I don't know. I don't teach people that. Right. So don't do that. Don't do like, oh, I guess you're not interested. There's no need to do it. They're already telling you they're not interested potentially by not following up with you. So by calling out like, oh, oh, you're not interested. Like it's just stupid. Just don't do it. Okay. So that was my 4C. Don't do that. Okay. Let's go to 4D now. All right. So 4D will be my last technique for you. If like at any spot in the deal, a deal gets stuck, just another technique that you can do. So you use scarcity. You said, hey, sorry, look, I've been busy, blah, blah, blah. Let me know how this date and time works. Again, confident. You sent a video didn't work, etc. Okay, 4D is this. Reach out to someone else. That's it. This, I know for a lot of you are like, what? Reach out to someone else, but what if they get upset? Oh my God. They already haven't responded in 3 weeks, so who cares? Like the key is this. Look, I need a yes and a no. And I talk about this all the time. The best sellers have big no piles, decent sized yes piles, and maybe piles that are this big. Big no piles, good sized yes piles, and maybe piles that are that big. I need to drive. And so when you reach out, I'm going to tell you how to do it without blowing up the relationship. So in order to reach out to someone else, it's very simple. You're going to send an email to one or two people that were involved in previous meetings and just say, and again, you can use a very similar technique. Hey, Alyssa, hope you're doing great. I really enjoyed our conversation back last Tuesday. Here's a quick additional insight that I thought might be helpful. And again, it's just like an article or something that's relevant to their job title. Hope it helps. Really look forward to kind of continuing the conversations. Send. You notice what I didn't do? I didn't say like, hey, I haven't heard. Imagine the other desperate technique is like, oh, hey, I haven't heard from John in a while. I was just wanting to see what was going on. Like, imagine if you went on 3 dates with someone and then you emailed their best or texted their best friend. It was like, hey, I haven't heard from Susan in a while. Do you know what she's been up to? Come on, man. None of you would ever do that. It's crazy. So why do you act that way? Human nature is human nature. And so acting that way in a professional environment is also completely unacceptable. So instead, email that person and email maybe 2 or 3 other people with some very specific value adds. Hey, John, hope you're doing great. I know we haven't caught up in 3 or 4 weeks since our last meeting. I actually just saw this article on LinkedIn. I thought it was super relevant. Hope you're having a great day. Then what ends up happening? Those people ping Cheryl. I don't know why I came up with the name Cheryl. Cheryl, and they say, hey, Cheryl, what's going on with this? Boom, Cheryl gets back to you. And you didn't throw Cheryl on the bus. You were trying to add value. That's it. That's it. I'm telling you, if you do if you execute what I just laid out, you are going to get a follow-up. You are going to get a follow-up in a timely manner. Step 1, the scarcity play. Add a video to that to add the next thing. Do not do, oh, I guess you're not interested. Don't do that. Reach out to someone with a value, 3, maybe even 2, 3, 4 people, depending on how big your deal is, and have them just be like, oh, what's going on? And then if they respond, let's say they respond. Hey, Jake, thanks, appreciate it. Oh, great. Hey, John, yeah, really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to catching up with Carol in the next few days or weeks, or like late next week. Then John might forward that, etc. You don't look like you're going over their head. You're adding value, etc. That's all I got for you. That's all my tips. That's all my tips. I could probably come up with some more if I thought about it, but these are kind of the ones for me that I like. I'm gonna hit a clap button. I'm gonna celebrate myself. Sometimes people are like, you don't like your own posts. I'm like, why not? If I'm not gonna like my post, then who is, right? So anyway, I hope this helps some of you out there. I know, look, deals do get stuck. If you follow my formula here for how to make sure it doesn't get stuck in the first place, and then how to triage afterward, you are going to be in a great place. I promise you. So again, housekeeping for those of you joining. You might have saw a few whys in the comments here. I'll just drop this in again. Next Tuesday, Sales Hacker webinar. You can sign up for it right there. Next Monday, we are dropping the Modern Outbound Playbook. If you want, and again, so imagine that, again, we literally work with hundreds of companies on their sequences. We get to see the data of what is working and what is not working. We're going to give all of that to you all for free as a part of being a part of the community. So drop a Y in the comments. My marketing team's already on it. We've already had like 4 or 5 people who've dropped the Y in there. We've got a lot of new people that have joined since then. Had 100 or so people chime in. So if you want that modern outbound playbook, it's going to be out next week. Our team can add you to the list to get it pre-release. So it's going to be pretty dope.